worked recently with a client on a head of biology position that was proving a bit difficult to fill. 6 months into the search, the CEO decided he wanted to bring in a candidate with experience of applying machine learning to drug discovery. Now, there was no computational element to this company's research, and the chief scientific officer seemed as surprised as I was by this. This was brand new information, apparently driven by a conference that the CEO had recently attended, where they talked at length about AI being the future of drug discovery. Now, at this point, we'd found 5 excellent head of biology candidates for the company and taken the process, which had been challenging, all the way down to the final 2. The result of this shift was another 4 months of fruitless interviewing before the CEO accepted that machine learning wasn't actually that important and agreed to hire someone who fit the original brief. Meanwhile, almost a year had passed, and partly because of this role remaining open for so long, the company's discovery programs were well off track. Now, unfortunately, this isn't an uncommon scenario. And look, I get it. Biotech is fast-paced and things change. But often that's an easy excuse for a bigger issue. Time and again, companies and hiring managers fail to take the time to really decide what they need before they begin a hiring process. And this alone is the single biggest challenge we encounter when helping biotech companies to hire brilliant people. And it's such an easy fix. First, decide what you want. Then, and only then, start looking for it. Now, it sounds simple and obvious, I know, but it's not always common practice. And what actually does it mean to decide what you want? Well, there are 4 key steps to this stage of hiring. First, define the problem you're trying to solve. The only reason to hire someone is to solve a problem. If you're not doing that, you're just spending money, and people are about the most expensive resource you can invest in. So start by defining the problem you're trying to solve. Problems in businesses typically boil down to one of 4 types. You're either trying to save time, yours or someone else's, save money, make money, or bring in expertise that you don't currently have. In biotech, there are also hires that you will need to make to comply with regulations, but you could argue that these are about making money too, in terms of getting your drugs approved, or perhaps saving money by building quality systems that also improve efficiency at the same time. So which of these impacts are you expecting your new hire to have? And if you're replacing someone, it's important to realize that the nature of the problem to solve might just have changed since the last time you hired into the position. And as a result, the profile of the person you need might well have evolved too. So once you've determined the problem, step 2 is to determine the skills and experience that are needed to solve that specific problem. Yes, you might like to hire someone with an MBA, PhD, lots of big company experience, and plenty of track record in small businesses, who can lead and deliver hands-on, driving both strategy and tactics. That sounds great, right? But not many of these people exist. So the key is to analyze the problem you've identified in step 1 and figure out what skills and experience are really needed to solve it. Once you have your list, edit it. Strip it back until you're at the point where you just can't remove anything else, and be ruthless about this. Yes, you need to hire someone who can do the job, but more important is hiring the right person, and more on this shortly. So you want to leave yourself with as wide a scope as possible without losing sight of the fundamentals of the role. The rule of thumb here is, what do they need to know or be able to do on the first day that they arrive without any support? Anything else is a nice to have, and while you can view other skills favourably, only assess a candidate's fit with the absolute requirements to start with. Unless, of course, you have far too many candidates, which is a great problem to be facing. On top of the skills and experience, step 3 is deciding what qualities and characteristics you need in the person. Now, a large portion of job performance is based on soft skills rather than specific experience. And in fact, various studies have shown that these soft skills account for at least 50% of productivity, with some research, including work done by Harvard University and the Carnegie Foundation, estimating it's as high as 85%. Because of this, it's at least as important to gain clarity around the type of person you want to hire, not just the type of skills they possess. The exact qualities and characteristics you might need will depend on the role itself. So, for example, while hiring a regulatory submissions expert, attention to detail may be critical, while a project manager requires excellent organizational skills and the ability to influence without authority. Some of the elements of the personality profile you're looking for, however, will be common across your company, and they'll be driven primarily by the kind of culture you're creating. Now, if you've already defined your values and translated them into specific behaviors and competencies, then it should be pretty straightforward to migrate those into a role profile and subsequently interview questions. But if you haven't, then that's where to start. Make sure, though, that you spend as much time on defining the person profile as you do the skills profile. And then the final step, step number 4, is to check alignment among the hiring team. So alongside lack of a clear brief, another common reason for hiring challenges is that many hiring teams just aren't on the same page. They're either looking for different profiles altogether, or they've all read and approved the job description, but they've failed to have a detailed conversation about what it all actually means. Now, is it possible that two people define extensive experience in assay development differently, for example? Or that perhaps track record of project delivery means something to one person and something else to another? This is why alignment is so critical. The clock is against us always, and this may seem like an unnecessary step, but without it, you'll waste significantly more time and energy down the line. And it's straightforward to check alignment too. If you're the primary decision maker for the hire, the line manager in most cases, first share the job description, skills profile, and person profile with the rest of the hiring team. Then sit down and discuss it. See if there's anything they disagree with or that they think you've missed. Second, and perhaps even more crucially, go through each point and explain what it means to you and what you'll be looking for in a candidate in relation to that specific criterion. Invite feedback and differences of interpretation and work through those discussions until you have consensus and agreement on what each point means. Not only will this improve alignment, but you'll actually get better clarity on your own view by having to articulate it to others. So please, next time you hire, first decide what you want. Then and only then